Hello, I'm Oliver Colling, and this is the My 70s TV Childhood Quiz. Hello, and a very warm welcome back to the finest 1970s UK trivia podcast quiz that you'll find this side of the podcast listings. This is our 27th quiz, and I'm very happy that so many of you listen regularly and pit your wits against our variety of weird and wonderful questions. It seems like our last quiz had a few of you scratching your heads, and that many of you found it tougher than usual. It's always a tricky balance, but after a few editions where many of you were gleefully reporting back telling me you had 16, 17 or 18 out of 20, we've had quite a few sub-10 scores reported from our last outing. What do you think? Better to be challenging rather than easy, I'd say. Let's see how you get on with today's set of 20 questions. If you do want to share your scores, moan at me for how difficult or easy the questions are, or indeed rate anything else quiz-related, then drop me a line to quiz@my70stvchildhood.com, or just leave a post on one of our many and varied social media pages. Okay, so on to the quiz. As I mentioned, we have 20 questions over 4 rounds of 5 questions. Each correct answer earns a point, and that's all there is to it, as Bruce Forsyth used to say. So without further ado, let's play. And round 1 is a new round called Variety Pack. And it's all about those little boxes of Kellogg's breakfast cereal that we occasionally had when we were on No. I'm kidding. It's a round of questions relating to that grand staple of 1970s TV scheduling, the Royal Variety Show, which regularly attracted massive TV audiences in the 1970s. Question 1. The traditional home of the annual Royal Variety performance was the London Palladium, and it was held there every year during the 1970s, apart from 1979, when it was held in another theatre. Which one? So which theatre was the 1979 Royal Variety performance held? Question 2. Princess Anne was quite clever and managed to avoid attending almost every performance in the 1970s, but she did attend in one year. Which one? Question 3. Who became the first female presenter of the Royal Variety performance in 1974? Question 4. In which year did the show top the annual TV ratings in the 1970s? So you've got a reasonable chance. You've got 10 years to choose from then, so you've got a 1 in 10 chance of getting that right. And question 5. Which of these did not appear in the Royal Variety performance in 1978? Was it Shawaddy Waddy, Paul Daniels, Marty Kane, Harry Seacombe, Jim Davidson, or the Crankies? Names to conjure with, but one of those did not appear in the Royal Variety performance of 1978. I could never understand why the Royal Variety performance was so popular as a child, and I still can't really. But anyway, I hope you did okay with that round. And on to round 2, which is our marathon or Fil Rouge round, where we ask questions about things we've featured on our podcast over the last 4+ years. So regular listeners should have a bit of an advantage here. Question 1. In February 2024, we marked the passing of David Soul and looked back at Starsky and Hutch. What were their first names? So what were Starsky and Hutch's first names? Question 2. A month earlier, we fondly looked back at the Goodies and one of my favourite episodes, Kitten Kong. But what was the name of the kitten who terrorised London? Question 3. Our episode, Watching the Detectives, from way back in May 2021, included memories of Dixon of Dock Green. Who played the title role in that show? Question 4. Question about me. How old am I as at September 2024? And as a clue, my birthday is in February. So how old am I? And question 5. In December 2023, we remember the Love Boat. But who was the captain of the MS Pacific Princess? So who was the captain of the Love Boat? How are you doing so far as we reach the halfway point? Don't give up yet, as it's all downhill from here. And our next round is our famous Spin the Wheel and Name That Tune combo mashup, powered by the latest in artificial intelligence, or AI as I believe it's known with the kids. Firstly, I'll spin our specially constructed Wheel of Fate to choose a year from the 1970s, and then I will enter that into our AI-powered theme tune generator, which will give me, in a slight twist from normal, the theme tunes to 5 TV shows which ended in the year chosen. Too much talk. Let's spin the wheel. You never know where it's going to land. And it stopped on 1979. Okay, so let me just plug that into our AI-powered random theme tune generator and wait a couple of moments, and voila, here's theme tune 1. Shouldn't be too difficult, that one. And here's theme tune 2. Love that show. Much underrated, I'd say. And on to theme tune 3. Here's a little clue to that one. That was one of 2 theme tunes used for this show. And so on to theme tune 4. That one is a bit tricky. And finally, one which shouldn't be too hard to get.
Peculiar tours with all the choices with whilst got 4 arms lost to grab your answer is too light.
So here we are on to the last round already. And this is our TV Times General Trivia Round. Are you ready? Question 1. Not the 9 o'clock news burst onto our screens in 1979 with Rowan Atkinson, Mel Smith and Pamela Stephenson. Griff Rhys-Jones didn't become a regular presenter until Series 2, when he replaced who? So who was the other regular presenter of Not the 9 o'clock news from Series 1? Question 2. How tall was Big Bird in Sesame Street? And I'd like that answer in feet and inches. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you 2 inches either way. How's that for being generous? So how tall was Big Bird? Question 3. Who turned down Eamon Andrews and his Big Red Book in This Is Your Life in 1974? Question 4. The HTV show King of the Castle was yet another kids' show which left most of us with nightmares. But where was all the action set in King of the Castle? And question 5. What was the name of Christopher Biggins' character in Porridge? So which character did Christopher Biggins play in Porridge? And that's it for another quiz. Now, before we go on to our answers, let's take a look at last time's bonus question. I asked you, what was the name of the Dennis Potter play which was pulled from broadcast at the last minute in 1976 and was eventually shown for the first time in 1987? And the answer was Brimstone and Treacle. So well done if you got that right. And so on to this week's bonus question. In 2012, the BBC's CFAX teletext service was decommissioned. But in what year and what month did it go live on BBC television? So I need to have the month and the year of when CFAX went live on BBC television. If you know the answer, then you can let me know by dropping a line to quiz@my70stvchildhood.com or by tuning in next time. Okay, are you ready for this week's answers? Then let's see how you've done. Round 1, our variety pack round about the Royal Variety performance. Question 1. Which theatre was the performance held in 1979? It was held in the Theatre Royal, Drury Lane. Question 2. In which year in the 1970s was the only one that Princess Anne actually attended? And that was 1972. Question 3. Who became the first female presenter of the Royal Variety performance in 1974? And that was Noelle Gordon from Crossroads. Question 4. In which year during the 1970s did the show top the annual TV ratings? Which I still think is quite unbelievable, but the answer is 1975. And question 5. Which of these did not appear in the Royal Variety performance of 1978? Shawaddy Waddy, Paul Daniels, Marty Kane, Harry Seacombe, Jim Davidson, or the Crankies? And the answer is Jim Davidson. All right, on to our marathon and Fil Rouge round. Question 1. What were the first names of Starsky and Hutch? Dave Starsky and Ken Hutchinson. Or I suppose it was probably David Starsky and Kenneth Hutchinson. Either is correct. Question 2. A month earlier, we'd looked back at the Goodies and Kitten Kong. And what was the name of the kitten who terrorised London? And the kitten was called Twinkle. Question 3. Who played the title role in Dixon of Dock Green? That was Jack Warner. Question 4. How old am I as of September 2024? I am, and I still can't quite believe this, 57 years old. And who was the captain of the MS Pacific Princess, aka the Love Boat? And that was Captain Merrill Stubing. All right, on to our Spin the Wheel, Name That Tune round, all of which were programmes that ended in 1979. First one, I hope you all got that one. That was Fawlty Towers. Theme tune 2 was the tune to Sykes with Eric Sykes, Hattie Jakes and Derek Guyler. Question 3 was one of the 2 theme tunes used for General Hospital. Question 4, bit of a tricky one, I do know. That was the theme tune to the animated version of Anne of Green Gables that ended in 1979. And question 5, well, that's a reasonably obvious one. It's the Liver Birds. All right, on to our final round, TV Times. Who was the regular presenter of Not the 9 O'Clock News, replaced by Griff Rhys-Jones in the second series? It was the later to be disgraced Chris Langham. Question 2, how tall was Big Bird in Sesame Street? And I say within 2 inches either way. He is 8'2", 8 feet and 2 inches. Wow. Question 3. Who turned down Eamon Andrews and his Big Red Book in This Is Your Life in 1974? That was Richard Gordon, the author of the Doctor books, which inspired the films of the TV series. And question 4. The quite disturbing HTV show King of the Castle. Where was it set? Well, it was all set in a tower block, so a block of flats. And question 5, what character did Christopher Biggins play in Porridge? And that was Lukewarm. So, how have you done? Are you top of the bill at the Royal Variety performance? Or are you busking in the street for a few pennies outside? As always, No matter how you performed, it's been great to have you play along, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Join us again in a week's time for the next episode of our regular podcast, and then again in a fortnight for our next quiz. In the meantime, we'd be ever so grateful if you can tell your friends about us. And if you have a moment, we'd love it if you could like, rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. So look after yourselves, be nice to each other, and join us again soon for more from My 70s TV Childhood and the My 70s TV Childhood Quiz.